Hey guys, Juju22 here, and welcome to Heat. This show is brought to you by MuchGames.ca, Insomania Game, and Views4 Network, and this will be the final show before we get to our next Super Show, and that's going to be Unforgiven. And we are not even at that particular show, and already this first match is a very, very good example of Unforgiven, and here's why. You have four men, and in this case, you have a target, and the target is this man, Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan has had problems with Triple H, Randy Orton, and Mr. McMahon from left to right other than Daniel Bryan. Of course, even though all three of his opponents want to get their hands on him, they are also just as liable or likely to beat the crap out of each other just so that they can get their hands on them inside a Hell in a Cell. So the question really is Daniel Bryan going to overcome the odds and somehow find a way to beat one of his three opponents, or will one of his three opponents beat him, if at all? Find out as this match is about to begin right now. Alright, match underway. And it looks like Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton are going to pair off, which will then leave Mr. McMahon and Triple H to go at each other. And it will be inside Hell in a Cell. And an arm breaker on to Mr. McMahon. And a whip into the corner goes Randy Orton. Ooh, nice double underhook suplex. Or a butterfly suplex, that's what it's called. And now it's Daniel Bryan with Mr. McMahon paired off. And then you have Randy Orton and Triple H. Now, those two go back a long time. Back to the days of Evolution, where Triple H was the leader and Randy Orton was one of its principal members. And it suffices to say that they haven't really gotten along ever since those days. Back in 2003 all the way up to 2004. And a suplex from off the top rope onto Daniel Bryan by Mr. McMahon. I mean, of course, in the real-life WWE, Mr. McMahon never saw Daniel Bryan as nothing more than a mid-carder at best. And yet the people loved him for it. And by him, I mean Daniel Bryan. I mean, that's the thing about Mr. McMahon, is that he just does not know what to do anymore. I mean, it's like, it's just like, you want him to succeed, and by him, I mean, like, Mr. McMahon and his company, but at the same time, the fact that he keeps, making these decisions to the point where it's like, I can't even watch the show anymore. It's just gotten so bad. But anyway, he's going after, Daniel Bryan is back up and he's pissed. Oh, nice counter by Daniel Bryan. Meanwhile, Triple H and Randy Orton are going to fight each other. And now a surfboard stretch onto Daniel Bryan. And broken up immediately by Triple H. Triple H realized that had Daniel Bryan tapped out to that surfboard stretch, the match would be over and McMahon would have won on Daniel Bryan. And now, wait a minute. He's got the crossface. Does Daniel Bryan onto Mr. McMahon. Oh, but Triple H wisely breaking it up. A kick and a punch right to the left arm of Mr. McMahon. And then a shoulder breaker onto Mr. McMahon. And a belly-to-belly suplex onto Triple H. A leg sweep onto Randy Orton. And now a pinfall on Daniel Bryan. Nope, kick out by Daniel Bryan. And now Alright, now Daniel Bryan now going after Randy Orton. A jawbreaker onto Triple H. Now Triple H is the leader of the Authority, and Vince has been the longtime leader of the corporation. And now a pinfall on Triple H. Nope, not even a 1 count on Triple H. In fact, if I remember correctly, Daniel Bryan competed against Randy Orton and Mr. McMahon in a Hell in a Cell match, but it was just between those three. And the end result was that Mr. McMahon was just damn near indestructible. I mean, you have to see that video to know what I mean. Oh, and a modified backbreaker onto Triple H. I mean, that back is not getting any better. And, oh, sorry about that. My fault. There we go. And a suplex onto Randy Orton. Oh, and then a stomp right to the arm of Randy Orton. And an arm drag onto Randy Orton. And now, wait a minute. 1. Nope, kick out by Triple H. Alright, I'm just going to sit up. Sorry for the shaky camera here. There we go. Much better. A kick and a punch right to Mr. McMahon. And then a whip into the corner goes Daniel Bryan. Although reversed onto Mr. McMahon. Nope. Countered by Mr. McMahon. 1. Nope. Kick out by Daniel Bryan. And then Randy Orton just cold-cocked Triple H. And now, when Mr. McMahon is using Daniel Bryan's own move against him, really? And, wait a minute. Are you kidding me? Mr. McMahon just beat Daniel Bryan with his own submission move? Are you serious? Wow. I mean, you talk about sticking it to your competition and your rival. You couldn't have done it any better than Mr. McMahon. And I'll tell you one thing. If I had known any better, I would have said that Daniel Bryan, now that he's busted open, would have stood no chance in hell. Especially no chance in Hell in a Cell. But I'll tell you what, folks. For Mr. McMahon, he has definitely gained a measure of revenge from the one time that Daniel Bryan did beat him. But, folks, we'll still have more matches yet to come. Until then, stay tuned. They'll be coming up right after this.